I'm Nikita Rana and this is Daily Dope on Tech 2. Thunderstorms are killing people in the country. Gram Panchayat elections are going to begin today in West Bengal. Elections in Karnataka are underway and CBSE results are going to be available on Google. But today we're focusing on the Aadhaar hearings. So they've gone on for 38 days over the last 4 months, and all these hearings have been covered in great detail by Tech2 and First Post. Here's a timeline that shows exactly what happened on which day. If you're interested in the details, I'm just going to highlight some of the main problems that petitioners had with Aadhaar and what the responses to those were by the state. So one of the biggest problems with Aadhaar has been the problem of privacy. The petitioners have said that it can be used as a surveillance tool against individuals, but the state has said that's just rhetoric, it's an exaggeration, and there's nothing wrong with the CIDR. The next problem that petitioners have with Aadhaar is that they say it violates the right to equality. Its mandatory nature leaves individuals with absolutely no choice. To that, the state has said that that's an exaggeration. Also, a little bit of privacy can be taken away for the greater good and in the interest of the state. Also, I think we've technically opened our hearts and minds to Google, Uber, Amazon, Alexa, and there's no reason why we shouldn't allow the government a little bit of surveillance. But hey, what about the leaks? If you've got so much data, the least you can do is protect it. The Supreme Court is concerned with the way so much data was being handled by the UIDAI. To that, the state has said that there's absolutely no problem, the data is secure, and in fact it's even more secure than any data law. Aadhaar as an act came into being in 2016. It was called the Targeted Delivery of Financial and Other Subsidies, Benefits and Services. But the way that this act was passed is a little bit questionable, because it went through the Lok Sabha as a money bill, and then when the Rajya Sabha did share its changes and asked for some amendments, all those amendments were rejected by the Lok Sabha and the act was passed. But now people are questioning why this is a money bill, and some of those arguments are that Section 7, which makes Aadhaar valid for a money bill, is not essential to the act. Also, because private companies can use Aadhaar data, it therefore loses its link with the money bill. To this, the state has said that Section 7, Section 24 and Section 25 are essential, are the essence of this act, and therefore it is rightfully a money bill. In fact, the delivery of subsidies and other financial benefits makes it a money bill. There's no question about that. The reason that Aadhaar came into being was to aid the poorest sections of society, the people who are living on fringes. It was meant to deliver financial subsidies and other benefits to them. But what has in fact happened is the opposite. A lot of people are being denied these things that they would have otherwise been given easily because they don't have an Aadhaar card. In its defense, UIDAI's lawyers have said that Aadhaar is required as an identification tool. It will also reduce corruption and fraud. Also about privacy, that's not such a big deal because this is in the interest of the greater good. And this is all legitimate in the interest of the state. As far as data security goes, that's not an issue. It can all be encrypted and kept safely in a centralized database. What's going to happen now? Well, one of three things. Number one, the Supreme Court says that the act is unconstitutional and therefore Aadhaar goes away, and along with it all the data that has been collected so far. Number two, the Supreme Court says there's nothing wrong with it, it stays, so we continue linking absolutely everything to Aadhaar and go on with our lives. Number three, some changes are made to the more controversial, more problematic parts of the act, and otherwise Aadhaar remains. If you want to explore this story in greater detail, read this article by Tech2 and look at this timeline.